Red carpet event Weibo Night is urgently stopped, and celebrity fans chased away by special police. Hongkongers hold first protest in years under strict rules. China's population plummeted, and the number of deaths in Liaoning exceeded twice the number of births. It's all covered in today's China Truths. Red carpet event Weibo Night is urgently stopped, and celebrity fans chased away by special police. The opening ceremony of the annual Weibo Night was held at the Shanghai Mercedes-Benz Arena on the 25th, and most of the stars and artists in the Chinese entertainment industry attended. At the same time, tens of thousands of star fans gathered outside the venue very early to cheer for the stars they support. On the eve of the event, on the evening of the 24th, some netizens posted on social platforms that half of the fans in the entertainment industry are sleeping by the roadside. Photos posted by netizens show some people sleeping on the streets of Shanghai wrapped in blankets, wearing outerwear, and even setting up small tents to wait for celebrities to appear. That night, Pudong Shanghai police dispatched a large police force to control the periphery of the site. On the morning of the 25th, before the red carpet stars live broadcast began, fans from all walks of life held up the Idols banner and waited outside the venue. Several groups of fans simultaneously chanted slogans to create momentum for the stars they support. The venue was very crowded, just like the general election scene. At about 4:15 p.m., when the celebrity walked the red carpet halfway, the head of Weibo Night suddenly issued a notice to cancel the red carpet live broadcast and urged fans not to gather or near the venue. No gatherings on Expo Avenue, and no gatherings in the celebration square. Please evacuate as soon as possible. Because it was an urgent announcement, at that time, many famous artists were still waiting but were chased away before appearing. The scene of the red carpet event was quickly cleaned up, and the host was also evacuated. But fans still didn't leave, after which more than 100 celebrities came together to tweet urging fans to evacuate, but many remained at the scene. Finally, the government sent special police to forcibly clear the site. Weibo Night attributed the pause to the red carpet live broadcast because too many people gathered and blocked the signal. This caused ridicule from netizens. This is the first time I heard that someone blocked its signal. In recent years, the CCP has adopted non-containment measures to deal with the COVID-19 epidemic, which has led to an economic downturn and greatly affected people's lives. Beijing Sidong Bridge protest, white paper movement, white hair movement, etc. take place consecutively. Many commentators argue that the CCP is currently sitting on a crater, which could erupt into civil war and collapse at any time. Hongkongers hold first protest in years under strict rules. Dozens of people on Sunday joined Hong Kong's first authorized protest since the lifting of major COVID-19 restrictions under unprecedentedly strict rules, including wearing a numbered badge around their necks. The rules set out by the police, who cited security reasons, came as the financial hub was promoting its return to normalcy after years of antivirus controls and political turmoil. During the pandemic, protests were rare due to COVID-19 restrictions. In addition, many activists have been silenced or jailed after the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, imposed a draconian national security law following massive protests in 2019. Critics say the city's freedom of assembly that was promised Hong Kong when it returned to China from Britain in 1997 has been eroded. Sunday's demonstration against the proposed reclamation and construction of rubbish processing facilities was the first police-approved march of its kind after the city scrapped its mask mandate and social distancing limits. But organizers had to comply with policy requirements such as taking measures to ensure the number of participants would not exceed the expected turnout of 100 people and asking for proof of a reasonable excuse from protesters who wore masks during the event. At the height of the 2019 anti-CCP movement, Hong Kong's government invoked emergency powers to ban masks from public gatherings so it can identify protesters who officials accused of illegal acts. On Sunday, about 80 people expressed their opposition to the plans in Seongkwan-o, a residential and industrial area, the organizer said. They had to walk in a cordoned-off moving line in the rain amid heavy police presence. Protester Jack Wong said he would prefer not to wear the badge printed with a number. Police said earlier the requirement aims to prevent lawbreakers from joining the march. Cyrus Chan, one of the march organizers, said demonstrators had communicated with police on their promotional materials and slogans. Officers earlier had told him that participants should not wear all black outfits, he said. Protesters commonly wore black during the 2019 protests. It's strict, Chan said. We hope this is just an individual case. We hope to show them that Hong Kong society can have peaceful marches and they do not need to set that many conditions to restrict us. Earlier this month, the Hong Kong Women Workers Association planned a march to call for labor and women's rights but cancelled it at the last moment without specifying why. Days later, the association said on its Facebook page that the police had invited it for further meetings after granting it the approval and that it had tried its best to amend the agreement. But it still could not launch the protest as it had wished, it wrote at that time. China's population plummeted, and the number of deaths in Liaoning exceeded twice the number of births. In addition to the current economic recession in China, the population problem is also severe. According to official data, China's birth rate will generally decline in 2022, while the death rate will rise. The natural population growth rate of many provinces will show negative growth for the first time in recent decades. On March 21, the Beijing Municipal Bureau of Statistics released the Statistical Bulletin on National Economic and Social Development of Beijing in 2022, showing that by the end of 2022, the city's permanent population will be 21.843 million, a year-on-year decrease of 43,000. Official reports say the number of deaths in Beijing exceeds the number of births. The death rate per 1,000 people in Beijing rose to 5.72 while the birth rate dropped to 5.67. The natural increase is negative 0.05 per 1,000 people. This is the first decrease in the population since 2003. Li Yuanhua, a historian living in Australia, said that the sudden drop in population has a great impact on Chinese society. First, it is the imbalance of the population. The proportion of the elderly is increasing, while the proportion of young people is decreasing. After a few years, society will be able to come out to work. There are fewer and fewer, because the current birth rate is low, which means there will be fewer labor forces in the future. And the aging society puts great pressure on society. In addition to Beijing, provinces such as Hebei, Shandong, Hunan, and Liaoning have also experienced population declines, with Liaoning province experiencing the largest population decline. According to official data, Liaoning province will have 172,000 births in 2022, with a birth rate of 4.08 per thousand, 381,000 deaths, with a death rate of 9.04 per thousand, and a natural population growth rate of 4.96 per thousand. In other words, the number of deaths in Liaoning province last year was about 2.2 times the number of births, a decrease of 324,000. American economist Davy J. Wong said that, like Liaoning, underdeveloped areas, their continuous population transfer to those developed provinces has something to do with it. We see that in many provinces like Zhejiang and Guangdong, a considerable number of people come from migration from outside, that is, some relatively poor and backward places immigrated. This is also an influencing factor. While the death rate has risen, the birth rate in all provinces of China has also generally declined. According to statistics from Lu Media, the provinces whose birth population dropped by more than 10% in 2022 include Hebei, Anhui, Guangxi, Hunan, Hubei, Jiangxi, Fujian, Gansu, Liaoning, Inner Mongolia, and Hainan. Li Yuanhua says that, the most important thing is that life is too stressful. Many people feel it is very difficult for them to live, so they give up having children. Many people just have a flat mentality. Many people are not married, or marriage without children is becoming more and more of a phenomenon in this society. The most important thing is that Social Security is a scam and has not been implemented. The number of births in Shandong, Hebei, Fujian, Chongqing, Hubei, and other provinces has all fallen to the lowest point in recent decades. Liaoning, besides the epidemic, the decline in the birth rate is due to social changes. Chinese society is under increasing pressure to survive, such as the cost of marriage, the cost of having children, and the cost of raising children, including education for children and medical care for the elderly, etc. Liaoning also said that the main reason for the population figures released by the CCP is because of the epidemic. Many people died in the epidemic, but the CCP did not report it. But now, when it comes to statistics on the permanent population, this problem has become prominent. So the main reason for this population drop is the death from the epidemic, the death due to the epidemic. Experts pointed out that as China's population gradually decreases, it will bring more social crises. Don't forget to leave a comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths.